Now this is Hollywood Unlocked. What up, everybody? It's Hollywood Unlocked Uncensored. I'm Jason Lee.
And I'm Melissa Ford, aka the Curve Queen.
Yeah, I was DJ Damage.
All right, now we got two real bosses in the building. I don't know how this is gonna go, but we're gonna get it started. Reginae Carter and Toya Johnson.
Hey.
Hi, ladies.
Hi. How you doing?
Good.
You know, I've been watching you, Reginae, on Instagram Live and TikTok. I don't even know how you had time for me today.
Oh my God. I know. I've been in this house just doing anything, trying to entertain myself.
See, I was saying to you all before we started the show that like I think we need to do a behind the scenes of getting started because typically we shoot our show in a studio, and this whole setup we got now with the internet is just we had Ayanna Van Zandt on and we told her she needs to fix the internet. It's just a mess. But we figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Toya, Melissa, do you guys know each other? Reginae, have you guys ever met?
I don't
No.
think I've met them before ever. I mean, we have a bunch of mutual friends in the Atlanta area, but we have never actually crossed paths. So, I mean, I've been looking forward to this as well. Reginae, congratulations on being the queen of TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah, like you're like major, the biggest star on there right now, and you've been, like reenacting scenes from movies, and the most recent was A Fall from Grace. Like, what gave you the idea to even start doing that?
well, I have acting class with my coach like every week, and
Mm-hmm.
he gives me a scene and I'm a monologue, and we work on it. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't meet with him, so I found TikTok, and I'm like, wait, these kids are acting out these scenes. I'm like, okay, hey, I can practice and just do this like this. So I just been going on there trying to find different scenes where I can just critique my craft and also have everybody laughing because a lot of people going through stuff.
Good for you. I love the initiative, and the fact that you're entertaining people because yeah, everyone's going through it. It's a
Mhm.
tough time for quite a lot of people. So kudos to you for doing that.
You know what's a trip is watching you grow up, Reginae, into becoming a grown woman because you are a
Mm.
grown woman now, and then Toya being still a fly mom who's, still cool and still, how is it having a daughter who's grown but still like y'all are like sisters now? It's like I don't look at her and go, oh, that's her daughter. I mean, I know it's your daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to watch Reginae grow up and transform into this, beautiful young adult. She's really holding herself down. Like she's definitely keeping everybody entertained during this whole quarantine. And she's very responsible. So I feel like that's my little mini me. We have our little times where we bump heads, but for the most part, like she's she's cool. She don't give me many problems.
But where do you get your personality from, Regine? Because I've met your dad a few times, and he's super low key and chill. And then your mother has a big person. I mean, at least when I meet him, I don't know him, but
That's a good question. Honestly, my personality comes from both of my parents, really. It's like I have a mixture of both,
Mhm.
but I also created kind of like my own lane within their personalities, like I feel like I have also something where it's like, oh, I'm too hyped for this one and this one too laid back. So where did I get it from? But I feel like I'm both of my parents, a good mix.
I would definitely agree with that because her dad, what people don't know, is funny as shit.
No,
So
he's funny. Like in all the mixtapes, the skits, like he's
in his
sweet.
deposition that this girl
Yeah.
just remade, iconic.
mhm.
Yes.
I'm more of a laid back, chill. Like I have my little turn up moments, and so Nate kind of got a little bit of that, but she's
Yeah, I'm
winning
my daddy
a lot of Wayne.
But you know what's dope though is I love the fact that you have two parents, one of which is just an international superstar, and one that is very public and both very easily recognizable. But you found your own, you found your own um, self. Like I don't look at you and say this is Lil Wayne's daughter, this is Toya's daughter. You've built your own thing, and I think it's just, I don't know, I think it's respectable. And I get frustrated
Mhm.
sometimes when we post you and people will talk shit like you're a kid of privilege when you didn't choose to be Little Wayne's daughter or Toya's daughter. It is what it is. And so I just like the fact that you've kind of created your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I've always said to like my mom and like
Mhm.
anybody, just and I always say like I want a name for myself. Like I want people when I get introduced, I'm tired of hearing Lil Wayne's daughter and like I know that's my father. That's gonna always be my father. Toya's gonna always be my mother. But it feels so good when I see posts now and they're like Reginae Carter. Like I don't have to have a
Hmm.
abbreviated part where it's Lil Wayne's daughter, Toya's daughter. Like it's amazing actually. And now that I'm acting and I'm really starting my own lane with that of definitely because it's like I feel like with acting that's my own lane. My mother, she writes books, she does clothing, she does
Mm-hmm.
things like that. My father, he does music, he likes skateboarding, he likes things like that. And me, I love acting. I feel like that's my own lane that I can show off.
I think that you are emerging as a young entrepreneur, and you're definitely identifying. You're creating your own identity outside of who your very well known and famous parents are. Toya, how did you instill? What are some of the tools that you use to instill? Um, she just seems to have so much sense. I can't thank you enough because Lord have mercy, Gen
Right.
Zers. You know what I mean? But she just seems to have such a level head for such a young person. So what are some of the things that you did to like instill a sense of, personal responsibility and a desire to not, rest on the coattails of her famous parents? Like, what did you do as a mom?
The thing about it is, like Reginae will tell you, like despite what anybody say in the media about how Reginae is, I'm too much of her friend and less of her mother. That is the absolute. That's false.
Mm-hmm.
Reginae would tell you that I'm 100% mommy first, and I'm always in mommy mode no matter what. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had Reginae at a very young age, so we basically grew up together, but coming from my background of not having both parents in my life, like learning things from my parents, it was always my job to make sure that I pour into my kids everything that I was missing. Whether it was love, affection, attention, even a part of being a friend, them having a friend in me. Like all of those things are important to me because I know what I once lacked as a young girl that became a young teen mom. And Regina didn't understand it at first, but now she totally gets why I'm always on her no matter what. She's 21 and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still that same mom
Damn.
to her all the time. Like I'm what her dating life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna always step in whether you like it or not because I feel
Mm.
like my job as a mother is never done. Like I'm
Mm.
gonna always give you advice. I'm gonna always try to prepare you for things that I already been through. Although I know that the best experience is life, for you to learn, like, from your own experiences. But I try to avoid her having to go through some of the things I went through. So the cool part about it is you have a young mom that just went through this shit.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, pay attention. And the thing about Reginae is, she have her little times where she can be hard headed, but for the most part, she listens and she pays attention to a lot of the things that I instill in her.
Good for
Now,
you, Lioness. Yes.
I'm a co-parent myself, and I have my son young. And Regina, this is what I want to know because my son knows who to get over on. Who's easier to get over on? Is it Toya or Wayne?
Oh
Who
my
can you kind of sneak something by? Because my son, he knows how to play different sides.
my dad for sure. Like growing up, I used to be like, this lady gotta have my phone tracked. This like, how does she know all of this stuff? Like,
Because she had did all
I
the shit
couldn't get,
first.
yeah, I couldn't get nothing past my mother. Like my
It's
dad,
always been good cop, bad cop.
yes, definitely, always.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, so when you started dating YFN Lucci, how did you know that he was dating you for you? And Toya, do you have to did you at the time have to have an opinion on who she dates, or is she just she's free to do what she wants to do as a young woman?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that of course, as a mom, I'm gonna have an opinion on who she dates. And I never had an issue with YFN Lucci for real. My issue was that I've always told my daughter to not go down a rapper path because I went down that. I experienced dating a young rapper. The difference is this guy is older than you. He have kids, and those are things as a mother that I wasn't really 100% sold on. But I can't help who she loved. But I try to at least guide her and make her, like okay, you not green. This is like wake up, pay attention to this. Like you dating, you falling in love, you might like this person, but this is not your forever, honey. This ain't your this is no. This, wake
What would you
up.
what
Wait,
do
wait,
you
wait, wait.
necessarily?
Wait. I want to hear from Reginae because I always tell women, even if Amber Rose, Melissa, Toy, whoever, the
Mm.
women, y'all are the prize, right? So, like, we don't even talk about guys really unless they're with y'all. Like, you guys are the prize, but somehow they make women believe that they're the prize. How do
I
you
try and
know?
instill this in every girl I talk to. Just remind yourself, you are the prize. There's too many lions out here with no teeth,
Yeah,
not
so
willing to court a woman, not understanding how to treat a woman like a queen or a princess. No,
okay.
these guys got to be whipped into
So
shape.
how do you know? How do you know when they know you're the prize?
Okay, well, I mean, honestly, I've always been taught I am the prize. Of course, I feel like I know that I'm the prize, but I feel like when feelings get involved, and also this was like my first kind of like older guy with that situation. So it's like, hey, the internet, all of you guys, my mother, y'all watched me go through something that was totally new for me. The
Mhm.
whole feeling, but also I always kept in the back of my head. I always told him too. My father's a rapper. Like I know the stuff that you be doing, or if you trying to lie to me, or like I knew certain things. Like I'll call him out on it. Like okay, listen, and he'll be telling like I'm not your daddy. Yeah, my daddy's smarter than you. I know what you got going on, but honestly, I feel like my mother, she's instilled a lot in me about just men, period, and things that you go through. I feel like when you know someone is def like it's for you and really loves me for me is when it doesn't have to be broadcasted. Like honestly, the next person that I'm with, we're not going public for a while. And if you have a problem with that,
Mhm.
and it's like you got a motive. Like I'm not trying to be out in the public with somebody because I feel like when that happens, some people don't like to see you win. They don't like to see you happy. They don't like to see you. That's why it's like my mama even took a while with posting red, and I respected it. At first, I was like, "Dang, well, where you go?" But now I respect it. And her man, he is with her 24/7. They got a kid together. They about to get married, and that's a real man. That's a real man. I love.
Was that the lesson you learned coming out of that relationship? Because I be on your mama's Instagram too, and I don't even think she changed her Instagram name for a while, right? And then it changed, right, Toya?
Hmm. It
Yeah.
changed
So
right after I got engaged.
yeah, I was over there peeking on your page, but is that a lesson, Toya, that or originally that you learned coming out of a public relationship like that?
Yes, that's definitely a lesson I've learned. Of course, because y'all saw what I went through, and like I had to go through it in front of everybody. So it's like, and also I've said I had sit downs with I had to get. I feel like a man could make you lose yourself if you let him. So
Hello.
I feel like I had to
Look at
sit
Reginae
down.
sounding grown as hell right
I mean,
now.
I'm like, she's
Right.
21.
Come on, honey.
I'm like, who's talking
They
right
talking
now?
about
What's
losing. Well,
happening?
I
Toya,
ain't even find myself till
congratulations.
last year. Damn it!
She's
They talking about
everything.
losing it.
She's
My little baby
everything.
was losing herself. I was like, who the hell is this kid? This is not the girl that I raised.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Mm.
any person I feel like that has a big toll on you can just, and it's a negative in a negative way, and it's not helping you, it's not feeding you. You can lose yourself. But I
Mm.
feel like I had to take time to myself and reevaluate certain friends, reevaluating certain people, and just talk to myself and really get more spiritually involved with myself.
Mm.
I love it, honey.
Now, Toy, you said
Amen.
you were talking about the rapper path. What makes it different from dating a man that's a rapper than I guess another guy that's out here in the game? Is there something specific when you talk about the rapper path? Is it the same for the
Well,
athlete path?
I mean, rappers and athletes, it's it's how it goes. Women who date them, they know how it goes. Not all of them are the same. I'm not gonna like just put that
Yeah,
stereotype.
because a lot of them
But
are
for the most
married.
part, like you know what comes along with dating rappers and athletes at times. It involves lots of women, especially like when they have kids, like that take it to a whole nother level. Then you have to deal with the baby mama drama, the comparing, all of that. I just felt like with Reginae's first relationship, she was too young to go with, to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like you need
Hmm.
something different. Like you don't want to date, not saying that this person is your dad, but you don't what why choose this type of
Well,
rapper?
I thought it was I thought it was unfair too, though, because you did date him young, and it's one thing when a person dates somebody, but when you have the whole internet in your relationship, the whole
Hmm.
internet waiting for something to happen, the whole internet judging it, it's a lot for anybody to take on, let alone somebody who's still discovering themselves.
Right.
Mhm.
It was just a
Mhm.
lot of public stuff that shouldn't have been
Hmm.
publicized. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I feel like some of the times I used to be like, okay, why do we know about this? Like
Hmm.
because it started to make her look. Like I just didn't like the whole fact that everything had to be every little thing, and it was
Mhm.
just starting to. I was like, listen, this
So
is not.
Toya, having come out of the relationship with Memphis, we know how that went, and your experiences in your relationship with Wayne that, for whatever reason, didn't work out. How did you find love again and not be jaded?
Well, that took a long time. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that that happened easy because I definitely was over getting married again. I was just overdue, period. I just felt like it was just I'm just about to just live my life or whatever, like just have fun. But then I realized I'm not that girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really the dating type. Like I
Definitely.
am the wife type.
We
Like I
we interviewed we interviewed Wendy Williams, and she said, "I'm the wife, not the girlfriend."
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I definitely feel like that. Like I have friends that date a lot and they enjoy it. Like I tried that. That's not really my thing, and I had to be real with myself. Like stop fighting it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Stop letting your past relationships mess up your future. Because I started bringing that baggage from what I went through with my past relationships into this new relationship, and I felt like I was just messing up a good thing. So I had to let that go. Like pray about it, do counseling. It's a lot. But I'm so glad I I
Writing books. I mean, because I just wrote my first books, and I've found it to be a therapeutic experience. Melissa's in the process of writing her book, your book, Inspirations, and the other book about your relationships. Did that help you?
definitely like writing is very therapeutic. I always tell people all the time, like write. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mm.
The things you're going through. You never know. I never in a million years thought that my book, my story of my life will be a New York Times best-selling book. So
Yeah,
I'm
say that again. That
like,
that that that's not an easy
That's
thing.
a bar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
real. You know,
Yeah.
the first
Congratulations on that.
the first time I reached out to Toya, I think, was when you lost two brothers. I lost one brother. You lost two at the same time. As a
Mhm.
person, not as a media person or nothing. I just really felt for you. I really just, because I know what it felt like to go through one. You went through two at the same time. I always am intrigued by how people find their strength after something like that.
Oh, that you know what? I've never lost anyone that close before, so that was definitely tough for me because it wasn't one, it was two. And I raised my little brother. He lived with me up until he was 18 years old. So that was very difficult, a very difficult place in our lives. Um, I each and every day, it's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that because I feel like they were robbed of their lives. They were so young and it wasn't bad boys at all. But as time go by, it gets easier. And I'm raising my niece right now. My niece lives with me. She's 15. That's my brother's daughter, and I feel like I will forever have a piece of him because I have her. I stepped up and was like, I'm gonna take my niece because I know my brother wouldn't have wanted it no other way. Um,
Mhm.
that's crazy. We actually did the murder trial a couple of months ago, and we happened to be filming for the show, but we didn't get too deep into it on there. But they showed a little bit of what we were going through throughout the process. But
Mhm.
we finally got the closure our family was looking for, and they will always be in our heart.
Yeah. Toy, I wanted to ask you a question. We just had Damon Dash on the show, and he is pretty worked up over the executives over at WeTV and Growing Up Hip Hop. I know that you've had a similar contentious situation with them where you left based on how you felt there was a negative portrayal of Reginae. Can you expound on that a little bit? Because I mean, Damon is literally trying to take them all down. What
It's
was your experience on Growing Up Hip Hop? Is it similar to what he's saying what it is?
Definitely.
Mm.
I feel like it's not too many things I regret in life, but doing
Mm-hmm.
that show is definitely one of them. One,
Wow.
Reginae, like her image totally, they painted her to be such this, like the worst person ever, like
Mm-hmm.
such a brat. My daughter has always been spoiled. She's always spoken her mind. We know that. But Reginae have never disrespected me the way that show has painted her to be a disrespectful daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So that caused people to just so much hate. Like I'm so glad that my daughter has tough, she have tough skin and
Mm-hmm.
she been dealing with this stuff for a long time. But that show totally like ruined like Reginae probably won't admit it, but for a long time she went into this depression. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody hated her, so she started to play the villain. Like, okay, I'm the most hated, so I'm gonna act tough. My daughter ain't never been that girl. Like
Mm-hmm.
she never liked you to talk about her mom, never liked you to talk about her dad, and that's what people knew Reginae as. And I feel like the reason Reginae is like that about her parents because she get that from me. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up with a mom that was a drug addict. My dad wasn't really in my life, so when people would talk about my mom, family, different friend, whatever, I will go off. Like, I never want you to disrespect my mom because regardless of the fact, this is my mom. And
Mm-hmm.
Reginae is the same way. People publicly disrespecting her father. You don't understand how that feel. Like, that's not a good feeling. Like, no, you can't compare her to other celebrity kids. So as far as that, her being disrespectful for defending her father, yes, we as her mother and her father always checks her for that. But at the same time, we don't know what it's. I mean, people don't understand what it's like to constantly hear your father and your mother getting talked about so bad. You're a drug addict. You it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through it, so I can relate, but people can't relate to that. But Reginae has never been totally disrespectful, but that
Mm-hmm.
caused her to be this
You
rebellious.
play
Yeah,
into it. I mean, it's almost
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
yeah. So
yeah, it's terrible. That show is terrible.
Reginae,
Yeah.
what was the experience for you and personally, and how did you? I mean, did you fall into a depression or have those feelings because of how people treated you? I mean, how did you deal with that? And what is the biggest misconception people have of you?
Um. Okay, so filming that show, yes, I did. I was very depressed after that show came out. Um, it's because I think not even so much. I really do care about what people say, like how people feel about me, but not so much like if they're talking bad about me or if they're having an opinion on me. But my thing was like people were talking, calling my mom,
Mm.
telling them that oh my gosh, they on this show disrespecting you like that. Da, da, da. And one thing about me, my mother probably don't know, but I want to look good in my mom's eyes. I don't know about everybody else kids,
Mm.
but like I want to look good in my parents' eyes. I don't want to have no like. I don't want them to feel like they failed in anything, you know, because my parents, they raised me really good. Like I tell them this all the time. I tell them I love them. I show them love. So around that time, I just was getting so much hate, and it's just like, this is not me. Yes, my mouth is so flipped. I understand that, but they set that scene up, and he disrespected me. And the thing was, it was over after it happened. We apologized, and it just
Mm.
kept
They
playing
dragged it.
over and
And
over
then he
and
only
over.
agreed to do the following season to clean up that one. They go
Mm.
Mm.
make the shit way worse in a cleanup situation. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is supposed to be a show.
Even when I was,
That
we sat down and talked about it, I cried. If that scene would have came out like it really was filmed, I feel like people would have like understood me more and they didn't want that. So they
mm,
Mm.
switched it up and did all type of stuff, and I don't know. I don't really talk too much about them, but yeah,
But
they.
because I've done reality TV and I've seen it and I've met you, Toya, Reginae, I don't know. Have we ever met each other? Have we?
I think we've been in the same place
You were at
before.
Wildin' Out, I think. You came to Wildin' Out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think just in the same place, but I'm an energy person. I've been around you both. I've seen you interact with each other. Toya, I was on Wildin' Out with you. You both seem really solid in who you are, and
Hmm.
your energy just comes
Mm.
off like what you see is what you get. So I know
Mhm.
how when you don't show up and give reality TV what they want, they'll make it look the way they want. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because, like I said, Reggie, I've seen the stuff that people said about you, but I've looked at you through different lenses and I've never seen what people saw, but I never watched that show either. So that's probably why.
Mhm. It's terrible. It was that was a nightmare. That was
But
a
now you
nightmare.
but now you're on a new show. So you have a new season coming with the new show. So
Ti
tell us
and
about
Tiny, Friends and Family Hustle.
yeah,
Hmm.
tell us about
Yeah.
that experience.
Hey.
Well, this show is 100% different, better, good energy, real friends, real situations. The reality that they shoot is the reality that you get. You know, I love the producers. I love like they're actually following our lives as it happened. There is no switch ups and this and that. Like like I feel like we already go through a whole lot as women, as black people, as and we always getting tore down for different stuff. I love that this show actually shows black women and families in a positive light. I told
Mm.
Tiny and Ti that from jump, like it really showed that you go through things in your family,
Mhm.
but you all work to get better, repair relationships, repair friendships, working, hustling, grinding, like the real stuff that goes on. So I really, enjoy working with 51 Minds and VH1 on this project because, it's a real show. It's a real show, and I think shows like this is needed. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
And Monica's on that show, right? Also, I mean, I know we were at the MTV Awards. We were all kind of sitting in the same row. Is she still on the show?
Yeah, Monica's on the show, Latoya Luckett on the show, Tiny, me, and our family.
Yeah,
Hey.
I really like all of them too. I mean I love when Ti and Tiny had their show by themselves. It was good to see them expand into more people that the culture cares about.
Yeah.
Melissa, were you gonna say something?
No, no, no. I was just agreeing with you. I mean, like you guys have. It seems like you guys have succeeded where nobody else has with in regards to reality TV. You kind of get served up on a platter, and things can just end up happening to you without any say. You have no control over it. But now you're in a situation where you are actually with real friends of yours, and your kids
Mm.
interact with each other. And I agree with you. As a black woman, oftentimes network TV wants to portray us in the worst way. And so I have to commend all of you for wanting to put out an image about us, a truthful image that doesn't always, get shown to the public by and large. So I think I think it's wonderful. I really do. And a long time coming.
So when you read in the news that Ti did the whole Hyman Gate thing, did you pick up the phone and call Tiny and say, "Girl,
Yes, please. What were your
what is
thoughts on
happening?" Reginae, girl, what your daddy did what?
We was all together. You'll see when the show come out. We were on a
that?
family vacation,
Ah.
so we
Mm.
all found out about it at the exact same time. So You'll see exactly
Oh,
how that went.
I can't wait to see because I know Reginae text the girl with your daddy. If I don't know, that's a lot. It was a
Oh
lot.
my goodness, that
Um,
yeah.
so I don't know if I asked the question or got the answer, but Reginae, what do you think the biggest misconception is about you?
I guess I feel like
Spoiled.
the fact that a lot of people think that I'm like just this spoiled brat, and what they really don't understand. Some people really need to just, go sit down in a shoe store, mine, and try on my shoes just for one day and just see, like, since I opened my eyes, my father started off as a young child star. Like, he was a child star.
Mhm.
I've always seen that. And then as I started growing up, my mother started. So it's like I've always my life, like, I didn't grow up regular. I didn't have a regular life. I also had young parents that had money and gave me anything that I wanted until
Hello.
I got grown, and they was like, okay, all right now. It's time to put you on. It's time to humble you now. And I respect my parents for that because, like I said, I grew up with my parents. So it's like the world grew up with me too. They're watching me grow up. So people are gonna have their misconceptions about me, but I feel like my heart is good and I have a great heart. I'm really godly. I've been to Christian schools my whole life almost. So it's like I know that I got a good relationship with God, and I'm starting a YouTube channel, so I'm starting to show
That's
people like
good.
my true.
That's good.
I'm trying to be like, it's my true self, no filter, no TV, no reality, just me,
That's
so
good.
people can understand the real me.
Every time I've met your father, it's been with when I've been with Floyd Mayweather because they are friends and they have this respect for one another where it's just like Floyd doesn't like celebrities, but he really
Hmm.
loves your father. Like it's
Yeah,
a
I
weird.
sat down next to Floyd, and Floyd at the award show. Floyd was like, he was like, I really messed with your daddy. Like
Yeah,
your
like,
dad.
but
Oh,
they always come at each other from a place of respect. Anytime
hmm
we're usually at Live in Miami, just to put that out there when I do see them.
yeah,
Now, let me ask both of you this question because Floyd is family, Yaya is family. When you see what's
Hmm.
happening right now with Yaya and Young Boy,
Mm.
Toya having started this interview saying you gave your daughter advice on dating rappers, and Reginae having dated a rapper. My question would be, Toya, what advice would you have for Yaya's mom, who's raising a young woman, who's now going through a very public issue? And Reginae, what would you say to Yaya, who's found herself in the middle of some controversy?
let me
You
start.
know what?
Let
You
me start. I want to be honest. I feel like Yaya's very young. She's younger than me, I think. She's like 18, 19, one of them. I don't know. But I just feel like I just feel like it's a lot to deal with. Even when I was in my relationship, I know that it's a lot to deal with. But like you said earlier, you have to know when you are the prize. And Yaya knows she's the prize. So all I would say is just like, you are the prize. You don't have to deal with anything that you don't want to deal with. But also you gotta let people live how they want to live. You gotta let people go through what they want to go through.
Hmm.
I wish Yaya would have called me and told me, hey, you need to leave Lucci alone because I would have been like, girl, bye. Like I feel like you have to
Hmm.
just live
Go through it.
how you. I mean, if it's like her mother. My mother was on my side, so it's like I always had my mama in my back. Like okay, like and I eventually do have to leave this man, like because I don't want like my mother raised me right. I know what I'm supposed. So I mean, I don't know. That's all I have to say.
what I'm gonna say is like out of respect for her parents, I don't tell people how to parent their kids. I'm not gonna tell them the wrong way or the right way because I feel like that's not my place to do. My prayers are definitely with that family in that situation. I know when my daughter was in the situation and I felt like it wasn't quite fit for her, I just I push myself closer to her as she pushed me away. because I feel like that is my job as a mother, like to never let go no matter what. Because when you are in love, I was once in love. I was 12, 13, 14 years old in love, getting on planes, going fly to different cities to hot boy concerts. I used to leave, they didn't know where I was at. So I totally understand. Like it's nothing nobody could tell me when I was in love. I wasn't here for hearing it. But the difference is I didn't have my mom in my corner. My mom wasn't there. Like I had different aunts and like my aunties and stuff telling me that I was gonna be like my mom. So it pushed me closer to this man. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So I wanted to be under him because this is where I found this is where the love was at. You know, this is the most love I was getting. So, I always say we have to pour into our kids, even when they don't want us to. We have to, just don't stop because this is our kids. We brought them in the world. Like you got to be there for them because at the end of the day, when the world turn their back on your kids and when the man turn their back on your kids, the mama gonna always be there. That's just my
Mhm.
take on it. Like that's the kind of mama I am. Like I don't care
Mhm.
what how many people hated my daughter, how bad she looked to the world, what this man was. I still was in her corner talking that shit, being her mama. Come your ass here. Do like it never stopped. Even if I had to get on the phone with this man, like, look, this ain't how I raised mine. I don't know what you do
Mhm.
with this here over here, but this is how we rocking over there, and this is not the look I want for my daughter. Period.
mm,
I've always been that mother. You know what I'm saying? So I don't tell people how to parent theirs. I just know what I do in my, with my situation, and I always send prayers out because I know as a mother how it feels to fall, like to lose, to not have that control you want, and to have somebody else, in control of your kids. Like it's just kind of, but it's life. We all, a lot
mm.
of us been through it.
Mhm.
They just happen to be going through it publicly and everybody having an opinion. Just take the time out and say a prayer for yourself.
Yeah.
And to her mom's credit, she is involved. She's doing exactly what you're saying. I think,
Right.
when your kids are growing up and they're becoming grown and finding themselves,
And
you do look out like Reginae said, you got to let them make some mistakes on their own.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you do. And sometimes it's nothing you could say to them. You might have the kids that
Yeah.
be like, I don't want to hear what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
every child is different.
Now
Every
we do. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. We do want to break this cycle, man. We all got this platform for the young men out there that's getting into these relationships. What's some advice we have for them? Because I remember growing up, I didn't have a picture of what love looked like. So, with y'all to, be able to talk to you guys right now, what is some advice you would give some young men that's jumping into this dating world, that we can make these situations better?
Man, be respectful. It's like so many young guys want to be so cool and so hard that they feel like respecting a young lady is played out or is lame. Like that's like
That's the
respect goes a
wave.
long way. Like why do you think opening like just talking to a woman,
Mm-hmm.
opening doors, doing things that gentleman does is lame? Like why is that lame to you? Like I never understood that. Like none of that. Like being a good gentleman is not played out.
Mhm.
And
Mm,
I always say this: you have to pay attention to a man's pattern. If he disrespecting his mom, the person who
mm.
gave birth to him, what the hell do you think he gonna do to you?
That's
Like
facts.
That is
I-
facts.
it's like
That
pay
is
attention
facts.
to it.
Yeah. Toy, you it's obvious that you're a lioness when it comes to your child. You're strong and you're extremely protective. Are you like her momager as well? Like do you help manage her career because I mean she's an up and coming actress at this point. So, we could probably look forward to Reginae getting a lot more gigs. Do you hold that position in her life as well, like the gatekeeper of her careers as well?
I do along with our manager Rick, but for the most part,
Okay.
Regina is a young adult. I give her the respect. I give her enough space to allow her to make decisions with Rick, and I oversee it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Mhm.
just to show her growing up and being mature, like even with her buying a home process, like
Mhm.
teaching her how to be a young, independent young lady. It's like I'll get her, I help get her started, but I don't do everything for her anymore. I'll
Mhm.
allow her to, to learn. Like, and you might make a mistake here or there, but that's a part of life. And she seems to be making the right decisions with it.
I think so too. You have done an incredible job of raising a really wonderful young lady.
So
Thank you.
I love
Appreciate
Toya's accent. Now I know that comes from New Orleans. But y'all both live in the A, right?
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Reginae, do you have a relationship with New Orleans at all? Like, do you claim New Orleans or Atlanta?
No, I claim New Orleans. I claim, yeah, I do claim New Orleans, definitely. But
She
I'm
better claim
pretty
New
much
Orleans.
raised in Atlanta, though. I moved out here when I was 5 years old, but I claim New Orleans.
But you are a New Orleanian,
Yeah,
period. Let's
period.
go.
See, I've been to the A several times and I haven't been able to get into it, and I don't know what it is and why I haven't.
What?
Yeah, like my first time I went to the strip club, not King of Diamonds, that's Miami. What's the strip club? Magic
Magic
City.
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 I really thought it was gonna be like magic. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be big."
Magic City is lit.
Magic City was cool, but I was expecting like shit to just people just to be like cannon shooting strippers out the walls and like I don't know what I was expecting
Oh
because
my goodness.
when you hear about Atlanta, you hear about Magic City. Now, Swinging Richards, have you been to Swinging Richards?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's the gay strip club. My bad. Never mind. It's
Jason,
lit
you're a
too.
mess.
Swinging
You're
Richards.
a fucking mess.
I
Go
heard about
ahead.
it. I have a friend that goes.
When I come back to Atlanta, me, Nene, you, Reginae, if you ain't got nothing to do, you ain't TikToking, we'll roll through there. Okay. How is it being on a show with because T.I. and Wayne had beef back in the day, or a little, I guess there was a misunderstanding around the whole Black Lives Matter stuff. How is it y'all not letting their issues become your issue, or Reginae, did you come in checking his kids for your daddy?
No, I feel like growing up, it's never been issues with it. I feel like growing up, my Uncle Tip always knew, he know me. Like, I feel like that whole the issue that the internet made it wasn't an issue. It was just something that I put out there on Instagram that people probably blew up. But that's something that we always do. I'll call my auntie, my Uncle Tip, and I tell them I don't like something if they post it, and I'll always do that. There's no issue with neither one of
It's
them.
family. It's like we
Yeah, it's
never
all
really
family.
take it too personal, behind closed doors. Like Tip have respect for Wayne, Wayne have respect for Tip. We all have respect for one another. And it's been that way. Like they know how each other is. Like
Mm-mm.
it's nothing personal.
Okay, so well, I'm thankful that both of you took some time to
Yeah,
come
for
on this
sure.
ratchet ass internet thing. I don't even know what this is. And I'm
Yes.
glad I was able to talk with both of you because Reginae, like I said, I've seen you through the midst of Instagram, and I'm just proud of who you're growing into becoming
Hmm.
as a young woman. And Toya, like every time I'm around you, the energy's so great, and I'm
Thank
happy
you.
that both of you are doing whatever you want to do on your own, and hopefully I become a New York bestselling author too because I'm trying to be
Yes,
on your
let's
level.
get it. Claim it. Put
Yes.
it into existence. You will.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you, thank you both for joining us. Reginae, you are a
For
lovely
sure.
young lady. I wish you all the success in the world. And Toya, thank you so much for creating this wonderful human being, a contributing member of
Mm.
society. Like I am so I love it. I think it's wonderful. I think you two are just incredibly beautiful women.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you for talking to
You.
us.
Yeah,
Of
and thank
course.
you, Reginae, for not blocking me on your Instagram live when I pop in there being nosy, because I be watching you. Every time she be on live, every time she be on, every
I
time she be on,
love you.
every time she be on live, I just drop the eyes emoji, and she be like, "Look, Hollywood, like, Jason, get your ass out of here." Uh, but thank you so much. It was nice talking to both of you
It's
today.
love.
Thank
Yes.
Good
you.
talking to y'all. Y'all be
All right,
safe.
bye. What up, YouTube? Thank you for watching this reckless show.
Yeah, and hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell.
And also don't forget to share and leave a comment because we are reading.